Hello, and welcome to a Sporcle episode. I am waiting on the daily games to refresh. They refresh in about 20 minutes, and I was going to pass the time with some Sporcle, and I stumbled across a super fun quiz called Untimely Deaths. One of the better quizzes I've played recently. It was basically just gave you a list of like 30 people from the last 2,500 years of history, and you had to click the year that they died in. You can see I got an 89%. I missed 4 out of however many there were. A couple of them were I was kicking myself over, but a couple of them were really close. Like Ernest Hemingway. I got Ernest Hemingway, but it was like Hemingway in 1961, Marilyn Monroe in 1962. I got Monroe wrong because I thought she died a couple of years after JFK, but apparently she died before JFK. Then JFK was in 63, obviously. There was a couple of people I didn't know who they were, like Spencer Percival. I think he was the only person I had absolutely no idea who he was. Then there was Thomas Becket, who I knew who he was, but I didn't really have an idea of when he was alive. I think he died in 1812. Anyway, this I don't know if this is a person or if this is Sporcle themselves, but it's part of this playlist called Clickable History, and I figured we would just go through these quizzes. I'm sure some of them won't be as good as others, and some of them might be super easy. But at least over the next 20 or 30 minutes, it will help me pass the time while I wait on these daily games, and I've been wanting to do some Sporcle content. It's just hard for me to find consistently good games that I haven't already played, because I've been playing Sporcle for over 10 years. But I have not seen this quiz, or this playlist. So let's see how this does or goes. Can you match the first part of each historical figure's name on the left with the second part on the right? I feel like this is going to be rather easy. The difficulty will probably come in the timer. We only have 4 minutes for 50 people. Adolf. Bad man. Let's start with last names. That's going to make it way easier. Margaret Thatcher, Andy Warhol, Leon Trotsky, Leo Tolstoy, Nikola Tesla, Joseph Stalin, William Shakespeare, Nicholas Romanov, probably, Pol Pot, Marco Polo. We'll come back to that. I feel like I should know that, but it's not immediately coming to me. Rosa Parks, Richard Nixon, Florence Nightingale. Yes. Friedrich Nietzsche, Isaac Newton. I don't think we're going to finish this in 4 minutes. Maybe, I don't know. We're only 25% of the way there. Don't know Mir or Matisse. Karl Marx, Nelson Mandela. I mean, this is really just turn your brain off hours. Stanley Kubrick, Helen Keller, Franz Kafka, Saddam Hussein, Victor Hugo, Howard Hughes. Is that who it is? Okay. Harry Houdini, Alfred Hitchcock, Henri Ari. I don't know if that's a person, but I'm assuming that's who that is. Che Guevara. We'll come back to that. Mikhail Gorbachev. Mohandas. I don't know if I said that right, but Gandhi, obviously. Yuri Gagarin. Sigmund Freud. Anne Frank. Albert Einstein. Thomas Edison. Where are you? Amelia Earhart. Marie Curie. Alright, I think we're going to be fine. Christopher Columbus, Winston Churchill, my brain, please, Fidel. I kept trying to say, like, Julio, but that was like, that's not right. Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte, and Neil Armstrong. Now let's go back. Golda Meir. Okay, now I recognize that. Henri Matisse. Okay, I'm glad I didn't try Henri Ari. I don't know who that is. Malcolm X, obviously. It is Marco Polo. Oh yeah, I forgot about the real Marco Polo, the Italian guy. Pancho Villa. Yes. And Mata. I don't know who this is. Mata Hari. I'll look it up between videos. I've never heard of that man. All the other people I am very familiar with. All right, that was kind of way too easy, but I suppose as good of a warm up as any. Click on the monarchs of Britain, England in order, working backwards from the current monarch to 1066. Okay, this is very fun. It is a minefield, so like if you get one, the game's over. In high school for Quiz Bowl, I memorized all the British monarchs in order. I certainly don't have them memorized now, but I do think I could get relatively far back. Although actually the early 1900s is kind of hard. So we'll see here. Elizabeth II. Before that was George VI. Before him, I believe his dad was George V. His older brother, Edward VIII, abdicated. Then, this is hard. I think George V was their dad. I know that. But when was Edward VII? He was before George V, I think. Yes. So then we go to Edward VII. It has to be. When is George IV? I know George III is the American Revolution. I think George IV is right. It's like between George III and Victoria, and then also William and Mary are around there somewhere, I think. Let's go Edward VII, thank God. Then I'm pretty sure it's Victoria. And then it gets really dicey. If we could get to George III, then I feel like I could go pretty good, because I think it's like George 321. Then it's Charles II. Then it's James II, Charles II, Charles I, James I. Then I'm kind of done. But William and Mary and Queen Anne. Those are tough. George IV is tough. I think I'm gonna go William and Mary. Well, no, hold on. When was the Windsor / Saxe-Coburg Goethe? I probably am not saying that right. Line established. What was the previous dynasty? It was William and Mary of Orange. They're like a one-time thing. Maybe Queen Anne was also part of that. I can't remember. And then I believe the Jameses and the Charleses were Stuarts. They basically covered the entire 1600s between the four of them. I think Queen Anne might have been after James II, but I can't remember if William and Mary were in the early 1700s or the early 1800s. I know George III died in the early 1800s. I'm going to say William and Mary are early 1700s. I'm going to go straight from Victoria to George IV. I think I'm about to die. Yep. I don't even know if it's worth trying again, because I just don't know. If I will try one more time and go with William. No, I don't think it's William and Mary. That's the problem. So hold on. No. I mean, maybe there's an Edward VI. Maybe that's why Victoria's son chose Edward as his regnal name, because his grandfather was Edward. Well, no. Wait, never mind. I was thinking of Victoria's husband, Prince Albert. Okay, I will try one more time. Elizabeth II, George VI, Edward VII, George V, Edward VIII, George V, Edward VII, Victoria. I wonder if there will ever be another Victoria. I mean, I guess there probably eventually will be, assuming like humanity lives that long and the monarchy isn't like disestablished or overthrown or something. But it just seems like such a, and another Elizabeth as well. It just seems like such a bold choice to say like, oh, I'm the next Victoria. So I think I might go with. I went with George IV last time. I guess I'll go with Edward VI. Rip. All right, I'm gonna very quickly turn off my browser real quick so I can open Google and say, who was king before Victoria? George III. What? Oh, he was the longest ruling monarch before Victoria, but that's not what I asked. I asked who was the king before Victoria. William the Fourth. Never would have gotten that. Okay. Back to Sporcle. Yeah. Okay. I that's very disappointing because, like I said, when I was 17, I would have gotten that entire thing. Um, at least going back to William the Conqueror. I don't know. I'm assuming that's where it starts. Can you pick the people who were alive at any point during each of the following years? This is going to be interesting. Okay. Let's start more recently. Who was alive in 2010? Michael Jackson died in 2009. 1962. Yes. No, no, yes. Oh, wait! What? Oh my god, I didn't realize it was only one person per year. So I thought we were still on 2010. So was the next one like 2020 or something? I don't know what just happened. Or maybe it must have been 1800. I'm mad. Okay, 1990 would be Diego Maradona. Maradona. 1980. John Lennon died in 1980, so he was alive in 1980. Michael Jackson must have been alive in 1970 because he definitely wasn't born in 50s. Then Marilyn Monroe was alive in 1960. James Dean died in like 55 or 56, something like that. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. That was horrible. That was one of those weird moments where like you have to sneeze, but then you don't sneeze. I never sneezed, but that felt very weird. I did not enjoy that. Okay, 1940. When was Oscar Wilde alive? Oh, Anne Frank was definitely alive in 1940. 1930 would be Einstein, for sure. Okay. Um, sorry, I feel like I'm misunderstanding part of this. 1920, Joseph Stalin. See, like, because I'm confused, because, like, Joseph Stalin was obviously alive in 1930 and 1940 and 1950, so I feel like maybe I'm, like, painting myself into a corner at some point by clicking people in the wrong order, even though they might technically be alive. 1910, Queen Victoria was dead, Van Gogh was dead, Livingstone was dead, Dickens was dead, I'm pretty sure Owens was dead. Oscar Wilde might have been alive. I bet he was alive in the 20s, so I think I'm going to have to go with Oscar Wilde. Chopin was the early 1900s as well. I might do him for 1900. God damn it. I bet he died in the 1910s, and I should have clicked on him for 20 and then done Einstein for 10. I'm going to do Chopin. Are you serious right now? All right, Van Gogh was alive in 1890, but now I'm just like, we've mega effed up. Victoria, I could go back to like 1830 at least, so I don't feel the need to click on her, even though she's very obviously alive for almost all of this. Livingstone was for sure alive in 70, so I'm going to save him. I'm going to bet that I know Dickens was alive in like the 1860s and 70s, so I'll probably do him in 1860. Jesse Owens must be in this time period. Alfred Nobel was definitely in this time period. I really want to do Chopin and Nightingale, though, because I feel like they are coming up on their expiration date. Are you serious? I must have missed him already. He must have been later in the 1900s. Okay, 1860, I'm going to do Livingstone. 1850, I'm going to do Charles Dickens. We've definitely missed some people. I'll do Alfred Nobel. I will do Queen Victoria. Abraham Lincoln was definitely alive in 1820, and Beethoven, I feel like he died like in the early 1800s. I think he was the person we messed up by not understanding at the very beginning when I clicked on J.K. Rowling. I don't know who would have been alive in 1810. I guess I'll go with. I don't think any of these people were. I think these four are all much later in the 1800s / early 1900s for Oscar Wilde. I think Beethoven is already dead. No, he was still alive apparently. Okay. Chopin was alive in the. Oh, I thought he was. I don't know why I thought he was alive in the 1900s. I mean, he could have been, I suppose. Maybe he was born in like 1840. That makes sense. Jesse Owens, I literally my I'm so stupid. I like combined Jesse James and Jesse Owens in my head. So I was just like, oh yeah, I just like read them as one person. Jesse Owens was obviously alive in for at least the 1930s and for like the next 20 years. This says I assume they're showing the latest one he was alive, so he probably died in the 60s. But he was the American sprinter who kicked butt at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. I didn't, my brain like didn't even process that. I was just like, oh, Jesse, we're dealing with Jesse James. I like, God damn it. And then Oscar Wilde was died much earlier than I thought he did, apparently. All right, historical figures per country. Can you name the historical figures from each column who were born in the same modern day country? Holy frick. Okay. This looks like so each column is a different country? I'm confused. Okay, so Austria. I want to say Austria, but possibly Germany. Either Italy or Greece. I can't remember. I think probably Italy, given Claudius. I don't know. China, I assume. I think he was born in the U.S. He was born in obviously the UK in his time, but it was a colony. But I believe he was born on American soil. Greece, Sweden. Wait, no. I'm thinking of Ingmar Bergman. Ingrid Bergman is either American or Canadian. Italy, France, England, Spain, Russia. Or he was in the Soviet Union. I assume he was Russian, but he could be from all kinds of modern day countries. This is hard. I don't even know where to start. Greece, Carl Linnaeus. Was he like Swedish? Egypt, Italy, Spain, Germany, America, China. I'm so confused. So is it like one per? So okay, so let's do like Guy Fawkes was born in. Oh, I get it. I kind of want to restart this quiz, but I'll see what I can do. So there's one guy from England in every quiz, or in every column. So Queen Elizabeth, uh, Winston Churchill, and American, Swedish, or Swiss, one of the two. I think he was Swedish. Russian, French. King Henry VIII, I assume, was born in England. Okay, I get it. I get it. I really want to restart. Should I do it? Let's just see what we can do. Benjamin Franklin, George Washington. Benjamin Franklin might have been born in the UK, but we'll try. Louis Armstrong and Abraham Lincoln. Italy. Looking for Italy. Looking for Italy. Looking for Italy. Galileo. Da Vinci. Let's do China. Shi Huangdi, Confucius. Where are you? Mao and Sun Tzu. Russia. Peter the Great. Yuri Gagarin. Vladimir Lenin. And wait, what? Maybe Joseph Haydn. Oh, Ivan the Terrible. Oh, I'm dumb. Egypt. Ramses, Cleopatra, Ptolemy, and Tutankhamun. France. Victor Hugo. Was Ingrid Bergman? Oh, Louis. Napoleon. Well, he was born on Corsica. I don't. I think it was technically French when he was born. I've read a couple of biographies of Napoleon. Um, Plato is Greek. Homer is Greek. Alexander is Greek. Socrates is Greek. Spain, 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 Spain. Martin Luther was German. Karl Marx was German. Einstein must be German because I know Hitler was born in Austria, and Frank. That was close because she actually could have been Dutch. Okay. Schrodinger, I think, is Swedish. Bergman must be Swedish. Linnaeus is Swedish, and Nobel is Swedish. God damn it! Now I don't even know what I messed up. You're for sure Swedish. Let's do Austrian then. Haydn, Mozart, Hitler. Schrodinger must be Austrian. Okay, yes, because Schrodinger is clearly a German surname. Okay, considering we spent the first 2 minutes, a minute and a half, whatever, of that quiz, just trying. I thought it was within each column. I don't know what. Maybe because it says from each column. I for some reason I was thinking in each column. We finally figured it out. I don't know why I thought Schrodinger was Swedish. That's clearly a German name. That's embarrassing. I did not know Ingrid Bergman was Swedish. I mean, Bergman is a Swedish name, but she was a staple of Hollywood for decades, so I just assumed she was American. That's foolish of me. Obviously, Ingmar Bergman is Swedish. And then I knew these two were Swedish. I did not know Celsius was Swedish, but it kind of... they have lots of scientists up there. Alright, I really like that quiz. Let's rate that 5 stars. Eyewitness to history? How long is this video at, by the way? We're at 21 minutes. I'll go for at least 10 more minutes. I would like to finish this whole playlist over the course of multiple videos. Can you pick the subjects that these contemporary chroniclers were writing about? Probably, maybe some of them. This is quiz 5. Let's do 5 quizzes per video. And there's 50 quizzes. That'll give me 10 episodes of this. Although some of them might be shorter than others. I would like to keep them all within 20 to 30 minutes, so we'll see. Ashes were already following, hotter and thicker as the ships grew near, followed by bits of pumice and blackened stone. Are you actually serious? I'm gonna get, like, one of these, maybe. Okay, this must be about a volcanic eruption or a fire or something. Reichstag fire. Great Fire of London. Eruption of Vesuvius. So, it has to be the eruption of Vesuvius. Okay. Nothing remains of it but memories and a fringe of dwelling houses on the outskirts. So like a blown up city, or maybe the Black Death, the Battle of Agincourt. The San Francisco earthquake, I could see that. I'm actually really tipped it, or the fire of London. Actually, I bet it's that. Fire being now put to him, he stretched out his right hand and thrust it into the flame, and held it there a good space, crying with a loud voice, "This hand hath offended." Okay, this should be prisoners of the Inquisition, or a Jesuit tortured in the tower. This should be. It has to be one of those. He stretched out his right hand. That sounds like both of these. They're both religious. But this guy's doing it himself. Obviously, probably still via coercion. But I don't think you would... If you're torturing someone, you're like doing it to them. I'm going to say this is a prisoner. Fuck. There is a group of the most respectable Arabs, and as I come nearer, I see the white face of an old man among them. What? No, 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 no. It's either the Siege of Jerusalem or Kublai Khan's... No, it's not that. I don't know. The captain's humanity, if I may so call it, did not totally destroy his philosophy as to make him yield himself up to affliction of this melancholy occasion. Captain's humanity. The death of Lord Nelson? He was an admiral, so... God, fuck my life. The dreadful pestilence penetrated the sea coast by Southampton and came to Bristol, and there almost the whole town of the population perished. I mean, that one's pretty obvious. It was the 24th day of October, the eve of St. Crispin, but he had scarcely turned out when his scouts reported they had seen the French in a large bodies guarding his road. We shall not perish from the earth this Saint Crispin's day. Here, I think I might have messed that quote up, but anyway, I think I combined like the Gettysburg Address or something. Uh, shall not perish from this earth. What is it? I think that is the Gettysburg Address or something like that. Here he keeps the game animals of all sorts, such as hart stag and roebuck, to provide food for the gerfalcons and the other falcons which he has here in Mew. What the hell are you talking about? I'm not even going to attempt that one. Throughout the city, people were dying of hunger in large numbers and enduring indescribable sufferings. This could be like all of history. Siege, obviously. At the end, when the orb was put into her hand, she said to him, "What am I to do with it?" When the orb was put into her hand. Oh, coronation of Queen Victoria. Okay. At the Prussian Ministry of the Interior, a special meeting was called late tonight by Captain Goering to discuss measures to be taken as a consequence of the fire. Okay. Hardly the Emperor entered the Kremlin, then fire broke out in Tigorad, or Chinese city, an immense bazaar. What in the world? Hardly had the Emperor entered the Kremlin. Okay. Oh, okay, yes. I shall not find fault with you, as I do with others, for being angry and cursing me, when at the behest of the authorities I tell them to drink the poison. Death of Socrates. Thank you, Dad. That was his desktop background for, like, my entire life growing up. Ministers put the collar of wood about his neckle. Oh, his neckle, his neck, and the high priest opened his stomach with a knife with a strange dexterity and nimbleness. Dude, we gotta go back to spelling like this. A shade of astonishment and affright passed over their faces as they stared first at each other and then the crowd of purchasers, whose attention was now directed at them. What? Oh. Well, that's depressing. Okay, it has to be this. Could have been an execution, I suppose. Every so often, a quick glance at the map by a shaded light and a short wireless message to Divisional HQ to report the position and thus the success of the 25th Panzer Regiment. Okay. All the blood in my body seemed to rush up into my arms and hands, and I thought the blood was oozing out from the ends of my fingers and the pores of my skin. It's one of these two again. I guessed this last time and it was wrong, so I feel like it has to be this one. What? He was walking in the middle of the quarter deck with Captain Hardy when the fatal ball was fired from the enemy's mizentop. Okay, that has to be the death of Lord Nelson. We were often severely examined of our faith and commanded to say, okay, I hate myself. That's so obvious. I should have kept going. When we could endure no more upon the water, we to a little alehouse on the bank side over against the three cranes, and there stayed till it was dark almost, and saw the fire grow. I want to get Livingston. Nothing remains of it but memories and a fringe of dwell. Okay. Saw the fire grow. I mean, come on. So that has to be this. Okay, this has to be Livingston. I don't know why. Wasn't he like down in sub-Saharan Africa? I don't know why there were Arabs there. Okay, I ran out of time. This was Kublai Khan's park. That makes sense. That makes sense. I was gonna guess this one, but I thought because I had guessed this one previously and it was wrong that it had to be that one. I'm just dumb. So Captain Overboard, I guess I get that. I went with Lord Nelson for similar reasoning because it was navally related, but I don't even know what this is. 1754 Kitten Overboard? Is this like Watership Down? What is happening? I don't know what that's referencing. I'll have to look that up. And then I don't know who Thomas Cranmer is. I suppose that makes sense. I didn't know who that was, so I didn't think someone would be executed. Oh, fire being now put to him. I'm dumb. Well, wait, am I? He stretched out his hand and thrust it into the flame, so he must have been burned at the stake. I was interpreting it as, like, his whole body wasn't being burned, but he was being forced to put his hand in fire for punishment for something, which is why I was thinking one of these two. Okay, that's okay. We beat the average. We got 80%. We got a B. We got 11 out of 12 on historical figures per country. I think if I had more time to think about it at the end, I think we probably could have gone 100% on that. I just made a dumb error with Schrodinger, and it took me so long to figure out how the quiz worked. Was I alive? Again, we messed up at the beginning because I didn't understand how it worked, but I definitely would not have gotten 100%, but maybe we would have gotten one more right. Probably not, though. This was a disaster. I'm ashamed of my words and my deeds. And this one you didn't even see me play. So, no, we do. Never mind. We did. I was thinking of the one which comes much later that I played before I started recording. That one, the first one was super easy and basically just a warm-up mode. This was a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to go through this whole playlist on YouTube. So, I don't know. It'll probably be a daily thing or an every other day thing. But I hope you enjoyed this. I love Sporcle, so please hit me with suggestions, whether it's geography, history, movies, pop culture, music, video games. There's definitely things I'm less good at, or things that I'm straight up bad at. But I love trivia. I love Sporcle. So please send me recommendations, and I will look over them. And if they look fun, I will definitely do them either on stream or on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time.